Hello everyone, and welcome to our tutorial. I'm Erica Botker, AccuQuilt's creativity expert, and today I am so excited. I am joined in the studio by the one and only Chris Marchini of Rose City Originals. He is here ready, willing, and able to show us how to use the Go Trucker Hat die that he designed for us. Welcome to the studio, Chris.
Thanks for having me. I am so excited about this die and showing you how to make one.
Well, Chris, you are known for making your own shirts and now matching hats.
Yeah.
And I have made a lot of things in my day, and I have made shirts in my day. I have never made a trucker hat. So let's get started.
All right. Well, the first thing you're going to want to do is download one of the free patterns I've written for AccuQuilt for making the hats with this die, and then we're going to gather up our materials. So the things that we're going to be using is some foam stabilizer.
Okay.
And we are going to fuse that onto our front fabric.
Okay.
And then I have a piece here already pre-quilted and ready to go.
Okay. Oh, okay. Lovely. This is so exciting.
Then you'll need some Tailor T-shirt Project Fusible interfacing.
And you said that this really works so slick when you're turning things inside out.
It does. I used a lot of different interfacings while testing my pattern, and this has by far been the best to work with.
Now with this, you want to be sure you follow the directions on it. It likes you to use a little steam with applying it.
Yes, so helps it stick a little bit better.
And we've got something else interesting here. So
yes.
What's this?
So this is some ultra firm stabilizer, and this is what is going to give your brim some body.
Oh, okay.
So I have been using Pellon Peltex.
Okay.
I know there are some others on the market, but that I found is the most readily available.
All right, and I think we had a little Velcro,
Yep, so you're gonna need a little piece of Velcro. It is 2.5 inches long, and I use either 1/2 inch or 5/8 inch wide. If you can't find that, you can actually trim down some 3/4 inch or 1 inch Velcro.
I've been known to trim it myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now just like when you use one of our 2 different oven mitt dies, we need to put this layer together and quilt it like you mentioned, right, Chris?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to hand that over to you. So we're going to do that before we cut it out.
Correct. Yep. You want everything pre-quilted together. So this, I just did some simple crosshatch quilting.
Okay.
And we're going to lay that on piece A of our die board.
Okay.
Now on the die board, we did indicate our grain lines for the pieces, but if you have a directional print, go by the print instead of the grain, just to make sure everything is facing the proper direction.
And this fun fabric, this is a fun AccuQuilt fabric, and we sell fat quarters of this on our website.
Yes.
So what's next, Chris?
So we've already pre-fused the Tailor interfacing onto
Okay.
our outer shell fabrics.
Okay.
And those are going to go over pieces B and C.
Okay. Perfect. All right. And there's that. Okay, now, inner shell, outer shell, right? We've got
Yes.
a couple of different pieces, and we've got some brim pieces here to cut, right?
Correct. So I like to cut these pieces individually on the die board. There's a lot going on,
Okay.
and the pieces are kind of close together. So to make sure that I don't miss anything,
Okay.
I will cut out just a few pieces at a time.
Okay, I can do
So
that
let's go
for
ahead and
you.
cut those.
All right, and this is on a 10 by 24 die board, so I'm going to use a 10 by 24 mat.
Wonderful.
I'll be your cutter today.
Thank you.
How about that? All right, Chris, here's our first couple of cut pieces.
All right, we'll give that a little love and slide off our mat. So when we put these on the die board, you want to make sure to fan fold them so that you have mirror images.
Oh, important.
These are directional shapes.
Oh, yes. And the other thing, and we're going to talk about this later on, you're going to see that we've got notches already added to these dies, and this is going to make a real difference because there's a difference. You don't want to match up. 2 notches don't match 1 notch,
Correct.
right?
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and cut out our front piece. So
All
we're just
right.
gonna lay that. Now in the patterns, we do indicate a 10 by 10 inch square, and that is really so that you can move it around and fussy cut to make sure if you have a specific design, it's
okay.
going to end up on the front of your hat.
Yeah, but you could also do that if you wanted to put a monogram or do some applique or something on that.
Yes.
I am getting excited about this. Okay.
Wonderful. So while we have this on here, we'll go ahead and cut out our brim pieces because it is at the opposite end.
Okay.
So we will just lay our pieces to cover piece D.
Okay, and is this fused also with that?
No. So
No,
this is just
okay.
fabric, no,
All right.
no interfacing.
Okay.
So we're going to cover piece D with
Okay.
2 layers of fabric. They can be the same or different depending on what you want your hat to look like.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Oh, Chris, I'm so excited about getting this together. Okay, let's look at our next pieces.
All right, so this is the most fun piece. Our trucker hat front.
Oh, I love it. And those are, got our notches cut in there. And then that's to cover the brim.
So now piece E is where we cut out our Pellon Peltex or our ultra firm stabilizer.
Okay,
So we will just lay that on the die board.
okay.
And while we're here, let's also cut out our lining.
Oh, okay.
So our lining is non-interfaced, it is just the fabric.
Okay.
So we'll cover that. And then we will do our best to cover these.
You can do a little peekaboo, it's okay.
Just make sure that everything is covered. You can always do the little trick to press down and see where the blades are.
Not too hard.
Not too hard, just enough to feel that resistance.
There you go.
All right.
All right,
think
can
everything
your
is
long
covered
arms
there.
reach that for me?
There you
He
go.
clearly is not used to working with me on the set since his arms are way longer than mine. Okay. And of course, I've got my Go Big die catcher over there just to catch my die for me.
Wonderful. Those are so handy.
They really are.
All right. So here are our last few pieces.
Okay, so this is lining over here, right? Okay.
We'll save some of these bigger pieces for a fun scrap project.
Love a good fun scrap project. And then, oh, this is so exciting. There's the brim. Okay, I can't wait to see how this goes together.
So we'll put that with our brim pieces, but we're not going to fuse it yet.
Okay.
And the last thing that we have already cut is just our straps for the hat.
And these, you do have that same fusible on it, right?
Yes.
That June Tailor fusible.
Yes, and the June Tailor fusible I have found is the easiest for getting those to turn right side out.
Lovely. Great tip. Okay.
All right, we have everything cut. We're ready to start sewing.
Okay.
All right, so now we're just going to sew 1/4 inch around the outside curve, and you're going to start at that point and end at that point.
Okay.
And you will want to backstitch.
Good to know.
I will use a heavier needle, so
Okay.
like a 16 or an 18 or a denim needle.
Oh, okay.
Those work great.
Oh, good to know. All right. So
There we
can I
go.
be your aide and turn it right side out for you?
So we're actually not going to turn it right side out just yet.
Okay.
So what we need to do now is fuse that ultra firm stabilizer in place.
Oh, okay. So I need to turn my iron on.
Yes. And when you fuse it in place, you want to go just inside those stitching lines.
Okay.
So you can kind of fuss it around a little bit.
Do I want my iron on this side or do I want it on the fabric side?
So what I like to do is I will press just a few spots on the edge so that I can flip it over and then press from the fabric side.
Perfect. All right. I will do that.
And then this also likes a little bit of steam.
Okay. Lovely.
So once it's all fused down nice and well, you want to
Okay.
let it cool before you flip it out.
All right. I will set it over here. Okay, so now we can flip it right side out.
Yes.
Oh, that was much slicker than I thought it was going to be. Do I give it another press now that I've got it turned?
I do.
Okay.
You don't have to, but I like to press it to make sure that those raw edges are in line.
I would love to. Okay, now I've got this done. I will hand it to you, and you can show us the next step. There you go.
All right, now we're going to do some top stitching to keep all of those layers together.
Okay.
So I generally start about a 1/2 inch in from the edge,
Okay.
stitch around, and then 2 more lines, a 1/4 inch in from each, just to tack it down.
Okay,
You can do as many or as few as you like.
great.
And then the last step here is we're going to want to do a top stitch about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. That's going to help us later when we go to join everything.
Okay, great.
So now we're going to put together the outer shell.
Okay, great.
We're going to start by sewing the dart in the middle of the front panel.
Okay,
And to do that, all we do is fold it in half
okay,
and then sew a 1/4 of an inch from here to here. Again, we're going to do some back stitching at both ends of the seam.
really important, isn't it?
It is. And as quilters, it's something we don't often do.
That's true.
So I like to
That's
call it
true.
out to remember.
If I think about it, I like to backstitch on the outer edges of my box because I hate nothing more than going to put my box together and they're unsewing themselves.
Yes.
Look at that.
And that's the front panel
That's
of
the
our
front
hat.
of the hat. It's so exciting. Now we've got some sides, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So on the front panel, we're going to add the side on the right-hand side of the panel. And you know you have the right one because we're going to match up those double notches.
Okay.
So we're going to put these right sides together. And because this piece has some bulk to it, I do find it handy to either pin or clip on this seam so that when you get to the end, you're still lined up.
Oh, good. Do we have some clips for you?
We do.
Oh, good.
So we're going to want to press this seam open.
Oh, okay.
Now the important part is just getting the very end of the seam to lie
Okay.
open. It's very bulky, so just do your best.
Yes, sir. Right, we've got this pressed open. All right, so there it is.
Now
Now
we'll
we're
add that
ready.
piece.
Okay, now we can clip.
Yes. And I like to sew with the foam on the top side.
Okay,
I just find it's easier to control that way.
I can see it kind of catching on the feed dogs maybe, so.
Right. And this top tip here should line up because we have those dog ears pre-clipped.
Look at that. That is so slick.
So now we have our side panel attached.
Okay, now is there pressing coming up too?
Yes, we are going to press this seam towards the side panel, and luckily it already wants to go that way.
Okay,
So you can just help it along a little.
okay. And you had a tip too. Now,
Yes.
is this when we use our tailor's ham?
Yes, you can use a tailor's ham or even just a rolled up towel, but something to help you with that curve because it's not flat.
Okay. Ooh. So then you can just kind of mold it around there, really, right?
Yes. Perfect.
But you're right, it does seem to want to go that direction.
Now we're going to take the 2 back pieces.
Okay.
And you'll remember it's the back piece because it has that arched opening.
Right.
And we'll put these right sides together.
And the notches are going to match up, right?
The notches will match up.
Perfect.
And those notches are important later on. But
Oh.
for right now, we're just going
Okay.
to sew a 1/4 of an inch all the way down only
Okay.
on this seam.
Okay. All right, is this a press open moment?
It is. So this seam we are going to press open.
Okay.
And the tailor's ham will come in really handy for this one.
Okay, well, let's see if I can manage it. Okay, pressed open.
Wonderful. Now we're actually going to do some top stitching.
Okay,
So we're going to top stitch about 1/8 of an inch from the seam on both sides of the seam.
okay,
The goal is to tack this down.
got it.
So if you're not exactly 1/8 of an inch, as long as you're under a 1/4 inch, you should be fine.
Perfect.
There we go.
It's so professional looking. Oh my gosh, quilters, this is so slick. I mean, there's nothing hard here. You just need to take your time and go step by step. So what's our next step?
So now we're going to take that remaining hat side piece and sew
Okay.
it to the right-hand side of the back. And you'll know it's the proper side because you have your single notches matched up.
A notch. There we go.
And just like with the front, we're going to end perfectly right there because we have our dog ears pre-clipped. So you can just add some clips in here, keep everything aligned for you, and then we just sew 1/4 of an inch.
Okay. Okay, you're a master with moving those binding clips out of your way there. You've got your technique down. Okay,
Yes.
what am I going to do with this seam then?
All right, with this seam, we're gonna press it towards the back panel.
Okay. All right,
All right,
now.
now we have 2 halves of our hat.
Okay.
Both of the side panels are on the right-hand side, because when we put them right sides together, they're gonna flip-flop.
Oh my gosh.
So now we're gonna sew 1 long seam to join the 2 sides. And what I like to do to make sure that the top lines up perfectly,
Okay.
we have this point here and
Yes.
this point here. Let's just take a straight pin. We'll start on the front side, because you can see that.
Yes.
You can see where all the seams come together.
Right.
Poke that down through there. And then take that pin and poke it right at the top of the point where you want them to line up.
Oh my gosh. I haven't done this trick for ages.
So now your points are perfect.
Yes. So
I
then
don't
you're
use
going to
the-
put a clip there?
Yep. I'll put a clip on either side to hold it still.
Oh, yes.
Take that pin out, and now I know that that is going to line up. I will add a few more clips just to help me along.
Okay.
I used to not be a pinner or a clipper, but with this hat, I find it saves you in the long run because you're not pulling stitches out. You ready to see it?
Yes. Ta-da!
And that is the crown
There
of
are
our
so
hat.
many great, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Okay.
So we are almost done
Almost
with the outer
done.
shell.
So the next thing, and you're right, this is matching up just perfectly, all of our seams. So cool. Okay, tell me what's next, Chris.
So we're going to do some top stitching for these seams here.
Okay. Do we
Now-
want to do some pressing?
Yes.
Yes.
I have to remember, we are going to press towards the back of the hat.
Towards the back of the hat.
Yes.
Okay.
I really enjoy this project because it's kind of bridging that gap between quilting and garment making.
It does. It does. And you can really personalize it. You know,
Yes.
you can just make this your own and be like Chris and make hats to match all your shirts. And now you're going to go in and sew those down. So we're going to turn this, right?
Nope, we'll actually leave
Oh,
it
you're gonna
wrong
leave it?
side out.
Okay.
Now that's more of a personal preference. It's
Okay.
going to depend a lot on your machine and how you sew.
Okay.
But I find keeping it kind of as a bowl, I can sew those lines a little easier.
Oh,
Now the cool thing I figured out when writing the pattern is you can sew this in 2 straight lines. So you're gonna start on the side here, so you're in
Okay.
between the hat side and the front, and you're going to continue straight and end between the hat back and the side. And then you're gonna do it again, creating an X across the top, so you don't have to pivot in the middle.
I love it.
So we'll do
All right.
that here. And it's just about 1/8 of an inch.
Again, you're just tacking that seam down to keep
Yes.
everything flat inside.
It makes for a better, more polished end result.
Yes.
And all of the seams should be going towards the back of the hat at this point.
Okay, great. You are full of good tips for this project.
I did a lot of testing when I was writing my original pattern. Trying to make it as easy as possible for anyone to make. There we go.
Okay.
Look at that.
Look how fabulous that is. I love it. Now,
All
the
right.
next thing to do is going to be the lining.
Yes.
And I think you've got one already put together for us, right?
I do, mostly.
Mostly, okay.
So you are going to do all of that over again. You're
Okay.
going to sew the dart in the front, add a piece to the right-hand side, and then sew the back, and then add a piece to the right-hand side. The
Okay. Mm-hmm.
only difference is on that back, we have those double notches. You're going to leave the space between open.
Okay, I have a feeling that that is important.
It is, because that's how we're going to turn the hat right side out.
Okay,
So now we have our 2 sides, and we're going to do the same thing we did before
okay,
and join them together. It's
And
the
you're
lining.
going to do your same trick with the lining then.
Yes.
Okay.
It is the lining, so it's not as visible, but
Right,
I find
but-
it's good practice.
There you go.
So every hat
Best
you make,
practice.
well, every hat you make, you're going to get a little better.
Okay.
And with the lining, we don't need to do any top stitching, and we're going to press all of the seams towards the front of the hat.
Okay.
So we just have that one seam in the
Okay.
center that should be pressed.
While I do that, what's our next step? Is that the closures?
Yes. So there's several options for closures, but we're just going to do what I have in the pattern, and that's making some out of fabric that has the June Tailor Fusible interfacing on the back. And you're going to fold these so that the two skinny ends meet.
Okay.
And then we're going to sew 1/4 of an inch on the two long sides.
And as much as I'd love to make you stand here and turn those right side out, I think we have some that are ready to go, don't we?
We do, but before we show that, I'm going to give a little pro tip here.
Okay.
To turn them right side out, it's easiest to start at the fold.
Okay.
And if you make a little divot, you can stick your, like a chopstick or a pencil even,
Okay.
to turn it right side out that way. It goes a lot faster.
Okay.
But we do
Da-da-da-da.
already have some made.
Okay, there we go.
And we have our Velcro sewn towards the fold end
Okay.
so that on the hat, they will meet just like that.
I love it. Okay. We almost have a hat. Can we sew it together now?
Yes, let's do that.
Yay.
Let's get this out of the way. So what we're going to do next is attach the brim to the outside shell.
Okay.
Now for the brim, sometimes if you have two different fabrics, you know which side you want to have facing
Okay.
up. If you can't tell which side the interfacing was fused to, the underside will be a little looser
Okay.
and the top side won't be.
Okay.
We want that top side to be touching the front of the hat.
Okay. The touching top.
And now we're going to line up the notches,
Okay.
and we're going to use a lot of clips.
A lot of clips. I think you said like 20 or
20.
something.
I have counted, and it usually takes me 20 clips. So I'm going to clip in the center. I like to sew with the brim on the bed of the machine.
Okay.
So I have the flat side of the clip down.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to focus like a 1/2 inch at a time, lining it up, putting in a clip. Scooting the hat along so it's lined up, put on a clip. So my clips are touching, which is why it takes so many. And when we get to the end, the tip of the brim should end right where there's that notch on the
Look at
pattern.
that.
So
Look
that's
at
your
that.
indicator that you have it all right. Ours is a little shy, which is okay. The important thing is that it's even on both sides.
Okay.
So before I go and try to readjust anything, I'm going to clip down this side and see if we end at the same spot. If we do, then we will call it good.
I love it.
This is honestly, attaching the brim is the hardest part of the entire project. But once you get past it and kind of find your rhythm with your machine and your setup, it's not a problem.
Well, I mean, I think some quilters worry about sewing curves, and we've got notches and the clips, and you know, they're different materials than we're used to sewing with, but gosh, Chris, you make it look so simple.
And on this side, we did end just shy of that notch, so
Yep.
I'm gonna call it good. When you do your basting stitch, you can even do it up to 1/4 of an inch.
Right, because then you could pull it out if you wanted to.
Well, it's
if
gonna
you
get
had to,
hidden,
but it's going to be
actually.
hidden, yeah.
So right now, we're gonna sew this
Okay,
at 1/4 of an inch. And again, I like the brim
The
to be on
brim
the
down,
bed, because
okay.
it's flat. It wants to be flat.
It wants
So
to
we'll
be.
let it be
Okay.
flat.
yeah, I hate arguing with my fabric.
Yes. And now I spent a lot of time trying to start right at the edge of the brim, like get my foot there, get everything positioned. It's actually easier if you start a few inches back. So then we just go really slow. You go about 1/2 of an inch, take a clip out. 1/2 of an inch, take a clip out. And we've come to the end, so I'll just use that stiletto and make sure everything stays in line. And here I don't worry about back stitching because I just go off the edge. All right, we have our brim attached to the outer shell.
Okay.
So now we need to add in our lining.
We're almost there, Quilters. All right, Chris, I feel like it's time to make a hat.
Yes, let's add our lining.
Okay.
So we are going to keep this right side out, but we're going to push the brim down a little bit.
Okay.
Because it needs to go in between the outer shell
Oh,
and
sure.
the lining.
Okay.
So I always like to start in the middle. I'll line up those notches. And this is going to fight you a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to add in our clips. And then along the edges, we do have those notches here, but everywhere else, just line up your seams.
Okay.
I like to go through and line up the seams first, clip those, and then if I feel I need more clips to keep everything still, I'll go and add those in later.
And because we've pressed seams opposite directions, you can kind of nest them together here, right?
Exactly, yes.
Oh, aren't you clever?
I've brought my quilting habits
You
into the
have.
garment world. We'll clip the ends just so they stay tame.
Okay.
And I probably need a few more around this area. So this area gets a little wild and crazy.
Okay.
As we sew, we're just gonna go slow, just
Yep.
like we did on our last seam.
Okay. I
And
like it.
I'm constantly checking. So I'll go about a ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch, check to
And
make sure all
then
my
check.
layers are where they're supposed to be, and then go a little bit more.
Okay.
But seriously, once you have this mastered, you've made a hat, like you can really pat yourself on the back. You have accomplished a great thing, and then you can go make more hats.
That's fabulous.
All right, this seam we are going to sew at 3/8 of an inch.
Oh, okay.
So I find that on the machine bed here. So when we get onto the front panel, this is where you really want to take your time and just make sure your lining hasn't bunched up underneath and everything stays in line.
Love it.
So I've done 3/8 of an inch along just the bottom flat edge. We've
Okay.
left that arch opening.
Okay. And now we need to put the fasteners in, right?
Yes. So we're going to take our two ends and we're going to slip them into the sides here right along that seam we just made.
Okay.
Now the important thing to make sure that they join when we're done
Yes.
is the hook end or the rough
Right.
end. We want facing the hat shell. And we're going to insert a fold first. And you can put it on either side. That part doesn't matter. But we're going to line it up right along that seam, and it's going to stick out about 1/4 of an inch.
Okay.
That's going to give it extra stability, and it'll last longer. So we'll just clip that in
Well,
place.
we want it to last longer. We've put a lot of work into this
Yes, we
hat,
have.
haven't we?
Now for the other side with the fuzzy or the
Yes.
goop side, we want that facing the shell. So that's going to be sticking the other way. Again, sticking out about 1/4 of an inch. And then we'll put a clip on there just so it stays put. And then this seam, we're back to doing 1/4 of an inch.
Okay.
And we're going to sew the entire thing. So the easiest way to turn this right side out through that opening that we left in the lining,
Okay.
reach in and grab one of the pointy ends of the brim.
Oh, okay.
I have found that's the easiest way to get it out.
Look how slick this is.
And then the rest of it will follow. And then this is the best part. You can pull out that corner just by doing that. You want to do the other one?
I do. I do. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Is that not the best?
It's wonderful. It's my favorite part.
It is wonderful. Now we just need to, I'm going to guess, let me guess here. You're going to stitch this closed,
Yep.
right?
Yep, we'll do a top stitch just really close to the edge and call
Okay.
it good. If you wanted to take the time and hand stitch it, you can.
Okay.
I've had one person in one of my classes do that. There we go. So now we just need to press this bottom edge so that it's nice and crisp.
Okay,
And then
are
we
you
can
going to top
stitch it.
stitch again?
Yep. We'll do a top stitch 1/4 of an inch along the bottom and 1/8 of an inch around the arch.
And that's it.
And then we have a finished hat.
And that's it. You are not going to believe how easy it is to put this hat together. It's amazing, Chris. I am so glad that you designed this die for us. And I know everyone is going to love being able to create original hats for themselves.
Yes. One last tip before we go.
Yes?
Your brim gets a little crinkly when you're pulling it right side out. Give it a good steam press.
Okay.
And while it's cooling, you can give it a little bit of shape, and then it will stay that way.
Oh my gosh, that is fantastic. I love it. Thank you so much for being here
You're
and telling
welcome.
us how to make this amazing hat and how easy it is to make it too.
Thank you so much. I hope everyone enjoys using this die, and I hope to see you all at quilt shows now with your very own custom-made hats.
Oh, I am sure you will, because at AccuQuilt, we hope you cut time. Oh, come on, Chris, you finish it.
So you can quilt and craft and sew more.